So Arnolfini is a space for ideas. It's always been interdisciplinary. It's not just visual arts, it's performance, it's dance, music, the whole range of the art form. So it's really important that we test out the different spaces. And for this show, Version Control, we've really kind of unpacked the idea of performance and, if you like, tested out what the gallery spaces can do in terms of performance. So quite a lot of the spaces have become almost theatre spaces. And also we've not just taken the convention of performance as live action, sort of body-based performance, but actually thinking about performativity in general. So today we live in a kind of image-saturated information society, so the whole idea of image affecting our everyday lives and how that kind of changes our idea of originality and authenticity.
So the artists that are in the show are really international, coming from different contexts, different countries. Some of them are also slightly older, from a generation that influenced artists working today, such as Louise Lawler. We're presenting 2 works by her, which a photograph, really solid and high-quality museum piece, and then a giveaway, a postcard that people can take. Then another very influential collective, actually, is Bernadette Corporation, and we have significant work by her, a video sculpture, and then a lot of artists who are currently showing a lot internationally. Tobias Madison and Emanuele Rossetti, who actually also today opened a show at the Kunsthalle in Zurich, or Jerry Bibi, an artist from Australia, who has a large-scale sculptural installation here.
Quite a lot of the artists are looking at what the internet has done in terms of thinking about origins, and there's artists Eva and Franco Mattis have, for example, made a piece which is actually involving 10,000 photographs just randomly, if you like, hacked from the internet, which is kind of all about our everyday life. There's a work by Felix Gemelin, and Felix has made a lot of work which refers to his relationship with his father. And in terms of version control, that's about how you kind of have this Oedipal question of authenticity when you're kind of trying to become a fully grown adult and you're taking on board your parents' kind of narratives. So in this particular piece, his father was a radical in the 60s, and he actually took part in a performance piece where they ran down the streets of Berlin in 1968, a kind of relay with a red flag, and eventually stormed the city hall and hung this flag up on the top of the porch there. He recreated the piece in 2002 in Stockholm. Of course, it's lost all its kind of political charge, all of that kind of sense of agency and revolution is kind of drained away. We're left with this rather kind of anodyne sort of relay where they never actually get anywhere. And he's made a performance piece that will go with the show, involving his son reading a text by his father. His father, this kind of radical Marxist, this very impenetrable text, and the poor boy is 10 years old, could hardly kind of understand a word of it, but he still read it out, and actually we're going to be recreating that performance with young children as part of the show. So again, there's a question about authenticity and origins that is very much part of version control in this internet culture that we exist within.
One of the ambitions of the exhibition for me was also to actually show a kind of survey of younger artists working today and dealing often with similar questions in terms of being interested in the process, being interested in the new information economy after the internet, being interested in questions of the original, of authorship, and to present quite a variety of these practices in this exhibition.
I mean, another aspect of our image-saturated culture is the social media and the impact that's had on us. So you only have to think about the Arab Spring and the way social media became a kind of, or was at least allegedly, one of the tools for people to organise. And the artist Rabih Mroueh, who's a Lebanese theatre maker, in fact, has made an incredible lecture performance about images taken from cell phones during the Syrian revolution that's still going on. And his whole kind of thesis is around whether this is a fiction or not. And in one of the kind of found documents, there's a sniper who spots the guy who's filming him on his cell phone and then shoots, and everything goes blank. So there's this question that Rabbi raises, actually, is this person dead? How did we get this image? Therefore, what happened to the cell phone? How does it become sort of part of our kind of media narrative of what's been going on in Syria? So again, it becomes not a simple kind of document. It's as more a kind of reflexive critique of the way that we receive this information and what it means to us as kind of a narrative of history. So if you like, one version of version control is to think about how we narrate histories and therefore how we rewrite histories. So there's a great quote by George Orwell from 1984. Who owns the past owns the future. Who owns the present owns the past. And so I think version control is really about that kind of power relationship of ownership in the present, especially around the image economy.